We have a shocking story coming into the Situation Room. Middlemen possibly connected with ISIS may be trying to sell the body of a beheaded American for $1 million. Brian Todd is here in the Situation Room. Brian, what are you learning?
A grotesque development if this story is accurate, Wolf. Tonight, we are told U.S. officials are looking into this report of a possible negotiation with ISIS involving shadowy middlemen and fixers for the remains of James Foley.
Those of your own family.
He was the first American beheaded by ISIS.
I wish I had more time.
Now, 4 months after the killing of American journalist James Foley, State Department and National Security Council officials tell CNN they're looking into a report that ISIS is trying to negotiate the sale of Foley's body.
ISIS is trying to sell the body of James Foley for $1 million.
BuzzFeed's Mike Giglio first reported the story. He spoke with 3 sources who he won't name, middlemen who he says were in contact with ISIS or its associates. Why does he think his sources are credible?
I would say that each of these sources are people that I've known before that have reputations for being in connection with ISIS.
Giglio says, according to his sources, ISIS and its associates have a specific plan for transporting Foley's body.
They said ISIS was offering to provide DNA sample once it was confirmed that the body was Foley's. ISIS would receive $1 million in exchange for it, and someone, most likely a middleman associated with ISIS, would deliver the body across the Turkish border.
CNN cannot independently verify the BuzzFeed account, but James Foley's brother tells CNN, quote, there's absolutely no truth to it. We asked Giglio about that.
The report doesn't say anywhere that the Foley family is aware of this, and I was pretty careful to make sure that this just focuses on ISIS's intentions.
U.S. intelligence and military officials tell CNN if the report is true, it's another example of what they call ISIS's depravity. Analysts say the Middle East is full of shady operators trying to arrange deals like this.
You often find middlemen involved, promising perhaps to Western powers and governments or families that they may be able to get access, get a deal done, but also going back to ISIS and saying, well, they also have been in touch with governments, family members, and sort of playing both sides and trying to make money out of it.
But Paul Cruikshank says anyone thinking they can make money from such a deal right now isn't dealing in reality, especially since there was never any successful negotiation for James Foley while he was still alive. Wolf?
I know there are some precedents out there, as gruesome and as shocking and sordid as all this sounds, but there are precedents. I know the Israelis, for example, they've traded for the remains of Israeli soldiers who were held by various groups out there. They've gotten the remains back. They've released some Palestinian prisoners in exchange.
They have, Wolf. The Israelis have negotiated for the remains of soldiers. We're told that Iraqi families have negotiated for the remains of loved ones. The U.S. is now reviewing its policy of never negotiating with hostage takers. But given this war with ISIS and given ISIS's documented brutality at this point, it's unlikely that any real negotiation for remains or anything else is going to come about, or it won't be divulged publicly, likely, if it ever did.
Yeah, I know the U.S. has been in negotiations for years with North Korea, for example, looking for the remains of American soldiers missing in action.
Correct.
Whose remains are in North Korea at some places, and sometimes they've allowed officials from the Pentagon to go into North Korea to search for those remains, and North Koreans have, I guess, received stuff from the United States in exchange for that.
Yes.
All right, thanks very much, Brian Todd, reporting. Up next.